Oh,
Hi.
Hey,
Oops. How's it going, everyone?
pretty good actually. Yep.
Not too bad. Everybody had a good holiday?
yeah, mine was good. Not sure how I'm gonna go back to work tomorrow and remember what the hell I'm supposed to do, but other than that, great.
What do you mean you don't know how you're gonna get back to work?
Well, getting back to work is easy. I'm just gonna sit here in the same chair and dial in. But 2 weeks, and I have forgotten absolutely everything that was going on.
Yeah, I can imagine how that is. I get called even when I'm on vacation, so.
Most vacations are like that for me. The end of year vacation is better because everyone is on holiday, and so I can get away with it. But anything where like you're just taking a week off in the summer, forget about it.
What's up?
Hey, how's it going?
How are you?
I am good, thank you for asking. How are you?
You good? Just firing up roll 20?
Sounds awesome. I think Tizio's been logged into Roll20 for over a week now.
Yeah, I think he or something.
He's just been there every time I log in.
Accidentally popped in once while I was joining another game. I was like, oh, Tizio's on here. Why?
Yeah.
Getting them hours up.
Yeah, right? Unlocking those achievements.
Those roll 20 hours.
I, I mean, it logs how many hours you've been on, but you don't get anything for it.
Yeah, specifically if you've been in the client or whatever, not necessarily on the website. You can search random games on there. I feel like I saw people like you had to have so many hours. So.
That's so dumb.
That is silly.
I get wanting experienced players, but I don't get wanting players experienced with roll 20.
I don't get either. I'd rather a newbie that's engaged than anything else.
Like me.
Hmm.
Oh, it officially dawned on me that it's 2021. I just had to type the date in for my notes file. I was like, actually 2021.
Yeah, I didn't realize it either. I suppose.
Alright, I think everyone's here. How's it going, Calarian? Tizio, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hey, hey. Alright. So I guess we can get started. So, the last we left off, the group of you had taken some time to speak with an artist at the Gentle Mermaid named Ivan, who actually name was regardless. You had taken some time to speak with the artist at the Gentle Mermaid, who was bereft of a new idea for a magical instrument or a musical instrument, and could not find it anywhere within the city of Waterdeep or slightly beyond. Having commissioned both Tizio and Perry, the two of you had set off to start working on this item. You took a little bit of downtime to investigate a small disturbance for the Blackstaff and traveled to Waterdeep Harbor, where you had came across a young bronze dragon who, seemingly minding his own business, just enjoyed the protection and solitude of the waters below, and after some conversation had learned of his intentions to just mind his own business, and should the city or the group of you need any assistance, he was willing to speak with you and see if any kind of assistance could be rendered. As a token of his trust to you, he had presented one of his bronze scales. After which time you guys spent a few more days just wrapping up loose ends while waiting for the construction of Trollskull Manor to finish. During that time, you had each accomplished a few activities that you would wanted to. Calarian had swung by the Hall of Hero or the Hall of Justice and had officially became a member of the Order of the Gauntlet. Talum took some time with the Blackstaff in an attempt to learn some new skills for his trade, and Ellis had went out of his way to the Yawning Portal to speak with the Yager Stonefist in hopes of finding a good fight. With that, over the next day or so, while you guys milled about within Trollskull Manor as the final touches were being completed on the establishment, you guys probably have like one more day or so before everything's completely wrapped up. And within that time frame, Calarian, Dranin would approach you at the tavern, and he would have informed you that while repairs are almost complete and you guys would be ready to open for business, there would be the small issue of not being a member of the Taverns Guild within Waterdeep. While it's not against the law to run the tavern without being a part of the guild, he highly recommended that you at least register yourselves in the establishment with the guild. That way they can help better facilitate purchasing of meads and wines, purchasing of food. You know, if you guys plan on kind of using it as any type of inn in addition to a tavern, there are places that can provide you guys, you know, clean linens on a daily basis, and just the general in and outs of day-to-day tavern ownership. But with that, we'll say there's probably about a day or so before the actual tavern itself is completed. What do you guys wish to do?
So, what was the information that I got?
Side note, Clarion, we can't hear Clarion.
Very true, we cannot. I don't know if he was talking. And Ellis, you sound pretty low.
I sound low?
Yeah, I turned it up on my side, so should be a little bit better. Does everyone else have any issues hearing Ellis?
He's just quieter than usual, but I'm only got 109%, so I just turned him up a bit.
I had him at like 50 because he was loud. He's at 90 now, and I can hear him.
I mean, if you don't got me at 100, I can't help you there.
You're at 100 now, so I hear you just fine.
Yeah, Clarence.
Yeah, let's give him a moment to
What's
work on his audio.
what's Loon doing?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
What is Floon doing currently, or throughout this time frame that you guys have been
I'd
waiting
say
on a report?
right now at this moment.
Well, this morning it would probably be I want to say it's the 25th of Tarsok. So you guys are like a day away before the opening. He has just been sticking to his general routine. You guys wake up and he has a morning meal provided for you guys, just as any other day so far. You do see there's a bit of a look on his face, but he seems to be keeping to himself.
We see him as a human right now, correct?
Yes, you do.
Harry's gonna go up to him. Hey, Floon, can I get a moment in private with you?
Uh, uh, sure, Perry. What can I help you with?
And looking around, making sure no one's listening. I can't help but have noticed that you're not human, correct? And I mean, your secret's safe with me if it's important to keep the secret, but I just want to know.
Um, a look of bewilderment comes across his face, and he kind of looks back at you and he goes, I don't know what you mean. I feel as human as I did the day you found me.
Well, I cast a spell not that long ago. And most humans don't trigger the warning of that spell. Have you ever heard of an aberration?
No, I've never heard of such a thing. What is that?
Well, it can be things like doppelgangers or other magical beasts, or yes, stuff like that. But my initial thought was that you were a doppelganger. Like again, though, if it's a secret you're trying to keep, it's fine. You seem a good enough person.
Well, I've never met a doppelganger in my life, and I've lived in this city for as long as I can remember. You can definitely speak to Volo or to Raynor, and I'm sure they too could attest to my humanity. You see, he looks a little perturbed by what you're broaching onto him, and he continues by saying, I don't know too much in the ways of the magic or what other arcane or priests do, but they're it just simply doesn't make sense to me. And maybe there's something wrong with your magics.
It's possible, I suppose. Can I do like an insight check?
Yeah, of course.
Let's see my character sheet pulled up.
Bring your own food. Okay. Give me 1 second, everyone. and he gets a little quiet after having heard you explain, what you discovered, and that there's this brief awkward silence between the two of you, and he goes, "Well, if you think that this is an arrangement best left undone, I can simply just leave the premises."
Well, now, I wasn't trying to upset you. If you, like you said, possible my magic was wrong. I won't press the issue. Your secret's safe with me, as far as I was concerned. Yeah, but sounds like there is no secret to be had. So, I apologize for upsetting you.
And he watches, he kind of scoffs, and he just kind of like walks off and out of the tavern.
Oh, he actually leaves. Okay.
He left. You don't know if, yeah, he just was angry enough and walked out. And you all watch as like he was in the process of like setting foods on the table and then stopped while he talked to Perry, and you all just watch as he comes out of the back room of the bar and then just storms out.
Would have been nice to save your lover's quarrel until after breakfast was served.
Perry comes out of the room just looking all upset slightly.
Yeah, Barry.
Oof. Oh. I was trying to be nice about it, but if he wants to throw it to see fit, I cast a spell, and I had a strong sense that he was an apparition, and I believe he was lying to me that when he refused to acknowledge it. He seemed a nice enough guy. I wasn't trying to upset him.
Oh, maybe he'll come back.
An aberration, not apparition. I keep saying apparition.
Yeah, just as a note as well, doppelgangers are not considered aberrations.
Oh, they're not. Oh, my bad.
Nope, they're considered monstrosities.
Mind flayers are aberration.
Pardon?
Mind flayers are aberrations.
Yeah, that's an example.
Should I try to follow him, Perry, with my bird?
It's not necessarily a bad idea. We need to figure out what, especially since it's upset him so much. I wasn't trying to out him, so to speak.
Out him is what exactly? What's that aberration? That doesn't sound good.
Most times it is not good. That's why I wanted to bring it up to him. But there are aberrations that aren't evil.
Can I try to have my... Oh, sorry.
Can I check if my food has been poisoned?
Make a medicine check. Okay. Taking a look at the assortment of breads and meats that have been cooked to various specifications and were in the process of being laid out in front of you guys. To the best that you could tell, you're pretty confident that this food was well prepared, and it doesn't seem to have been modified in any way that seems suspicious.
Well, if he wanted to kill us, he probably would have done it by now by poisoning us or something.
Yeah, there are more malicious things than poison, unfortunately. It would
He
be
always
good to know
was-
what his intentions were here.
He was always asking a lot of questions.
That doesn't indicate guilt, if anything.
That's true.
So with the bit of tension that fills the room, Talon, were you trying to have your hawk follow, or?
I think so, yeah. If that's
Okay.
possible.
Yeah, it's possible. Go ahead and roll a perception check for me as you send your hawk outside of the tavern to attempt to locate him.
Oh, 14. Oh, no, it is 16 because I get advantage.
Yeah.
Cool.
Keen sight, right?
Yep.
Okay. So with the brief bit of conversation that the group of you had with Perry, and then you deciding to send your hawk outside, shift into your mind's eye to view through your hawk's vision, and you watch as the bright cloudless sky above gives way to a nice view of the city street below, where you can see that there is a large number of individuals that are traversing both the northern and southern entrances to Trollskull Alley. Um, at the moment, you are not able to kind of get a bead on where Floon had walked off to. It seems that he had enough time to blend in through the rest of the populace, and you're not entirely sure which way he went.
All right, tell the party those things.
It's fine. Let it be. Maybe he'll come back.
He was kind of useful though.
Yes, unfortunately, I enjoyed his company. I just wanted to get to the bottom of it. In case he decided to poison our food one day.
Well, with that promising start to the day, what is it that are our plans?
We still got like a day left on the spell, right? The enchantment. For
Yes.
the guitar. Yeah.
Yes, you have one more day left on the enchantment, and coincidentally, it ties in with the finalizing of the repairs. Calarian, the last guild to work on the establishment, lets you know that they'll be wrapped up by day's end today or so, and then you guys should be fully complete by the morrow. Ellis, you had a question for me, right? I don't want to ignore you.
I was just wondering what kind of information I had received regarding what or when my potential fight would be.
Okay. So, last night when you had spoken with Yagar, she said give her a little bit of time and that she will try to find a place for you to fight, and she would get in touch with you.
That's right. All right.
So with the slight bit of tension that permeates through the air, you guys do manage to have a decent breakfast in the morning. And as you guys decide what you wish to do for the remainder of the day, what do you guys want to do?
I want to try and find Floon.
Well, if we're gonna find Floon, we should go to Valio?
Volo.
Whoa, yes.
So, Yawning Portal.
Okay.
To the Yawning Portal.
Okay. So, who's all going to the Yawning Portal? Just the group of you?
Perry will go.
Yeah, Tizio will.
Perfect.
Well,
If
that's
I'm
where I
done-
saw Yagra, so I'm going there too.
If I'm done with my thing, I'll go.
With trying to hang out with the Blackstaff? Yeah, that
Yeah.
would have been done.
Cool. I'll just hang out with the party then.
Sure. Okay. So, as you guys make your way out onto Serdune Street, heading over to the Yawning Portal, let's pull you over to that map. Who's leading the charge?
Guess I can.
Sure, go ahead and roll D100. Ooh, nice one.
We're about to fight Demogorgon, aren't we?
Okay, so let's see, we've done that. Okay. So, as you guys are making your way, sorry, one second. Something caught in my throat, sorry. As you guys are making your way out onto the high road, and Calarian leading the way, heading southward through the through the north ward towards the yawning portal. Um, the weather is extremely beautiful this time of year, and especially now with it getting closer towards summer. Um, you are seeing a lot more citizens filling the streets. Their various short sleeve shirts and beautiful dresses make way past you all. Um, as you guys can hear the shouts of various vendors and thrift sellers and soothsayers as you make your way down one of the majority busy roads here. About halfway down your journey to the yawning portal, you do see that the crossroad from the high road is actually barred off a little bit. There are city watch that are currently in the process of like just stopping all traffic that are crossing the streets, and you can see that shortly following what appears to be a very long procession of individuals, all dressed in various states of fine robes and dresses, but all of them are wearing a solid black, almost in unison. And there's a bit of a somber look about them as they appear to be marching towards the city of the dead, carrying what appears to be 2 caskets. A short time passes as the group of them make their procession onward, and the road once more becomes clear, and you guys are able to continue on your way. And then you, within a short amount of time, find yourselves at the yawning portal. So let me shift up the music a little bit. Pardon me. So, as you guys enter into the yawning portal, the familiar ruckus of laughter and cheer hits your guys' ears as you enter into the dimly lit chamber here on the first floor. The familiar smells of cooked meats and stale ales hit your noses as you guys make your way through. Where are you guys trying to go?
Can we see him, Valio?
Follow.
Oh, yeah.
Make a perception check for me. Whew.
I see everything.
Everything. Okay. So, a couple things you notice. First, you do see that Durnan, the barkeep, is currently in behind the counter, and he's just in the process of what appears to be pouring a very, very rich brown-looking whiskey of some sort. Uh, Give me one second. You see that there is a large number of individuals that are currently. The yawning portal's all the way down here. Yep, right down there. You see that there are a large number of patrons here currently within the yawning portal. Various what appear to be possibly swords for hire, wearing different types of leathers. A couple of individuals wearing various states of different chainmail. You can see that there are a large number of common folk that seem to be there just in the middle of this early morning enjoying a early drink, possibly celebrating the oncoming better weather and hopefully better times to come as summer rolls around the corner. You recognize Bonnie is currently in the process of just serving a couple dishes to a few individuals in the back corner. Um, as you glance up towards the second floor, you do see Yagra is just kind of sitting there, what appears to be in the middle of a meal, eating some kind of breakfast herself. And then on the opposite side from Yagra, up on the right side of the yawning portal, you can see 2 individuals, Volo and Raynar, currently in deep conversation with one another. and just kind of absentmindedly talking, not really paying attention to their surroundings.
Before we go talk to them, Perry will. He's gonna cast protection from good and evil on
Okay.
himself. Wait, no, I'm sorry. Detect good and evil. Evil and good,
Okay.
yeah. That's what I meant.
Interesting. Okay. Let's see. Da-da-da-da-da. Okay. Easy enough to do. So you cast that upon yourself as you guys press your way into the deeper into the establishment. Durnan kind of looks over to you, Clarion, and gives a slight wave. He says, "How are things holding up?" Everyone's actually a beholder. Yes.
Tell me everything's going good. Got repairs finished or finishing.
Oh, wonderful. Is there how much longer do you have to go? Have you signed up for the guild hall yet? Pull up the
Repairs should
correct
be
name.
end of the day, but no, I have not done that step yet. It's on my to-do list.
This would be, where is this guild hall? There's so many, I forget what the name of them are. Give me 1 second. Fellowship of Innkeepers. That's what it is. Okay. So he nods understandingly and he says, "Right. Well, if you need any help with getting in with the Fellowship of Innkeepers, just let me know. I could definitely give you a hand. It shouldn't be a problem. They're pretty good about keeping business regular for those who need it."
I appreciate it.
You bet. Well, find yourselves a seat. I'll send somebody over. Get you something to drink, huh?
You haven't seen Floon by chance, have you?
He slides the glass that he was pouring over to another gentleman further down the bar, who just kind of nods and drops a few silver pieces on the table. And he looks over to you and he goes, "No, can't say I've seen him since that last night he came in here bloodied up with the rest of you."
How about Volo?
He stops and he kind of like scans the room for a minute and he looks up towards the second floor, and he raises up a larger calloused finger and he points up there. He goes, "Huh, looks like he's up there talking to the Neverember boy."
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, you bet.
I'm gonna go up there.
Yeah, Perry will too.
Okay. You currently, within your vicinity, Perry, do not sense anything that would be triggered by Detect Good and Evil. As you guys make your way up to the second floor of the Yawning Portal, I really need to upload a photo for you guys so you get more of a feel for it, but we'll throw this in here just for giggles. So as a group of you make your way up through the spiraling staircase up to the second floor there, where are you guys trying to go straight to Volo and Raynor?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you guys are able to weave your way through the rather crowded tavern at this hour, to find yourself standing before Volo and Raynor, and both of them kind of stop mid-conversation, and as you're approaching, you can hear them just laughing and talking about just current events, what it seems like, and just, you hear Volo the last thing he had said briefly was, "And the ambassador from Thay, I mean, I've never seen someone look so ghastly in my life." And then he kind of looks over at you and he goes, "Oh, my friends! I have not seen you in some time. Oh, please, please, come sit, come sit. What brings you all here so early in the morning? You see, go ahead.
We're just looking for Floon. I said something to him. I sort of upset him. I don't want to apologize.
There's a bit of a shock on Volo's face, and Raynar is just kind of, you see him look over in your direction with a bit of sternness in his eyes, and he kind of says, "Neither of us have seen Floon in over a 10 day. Where have you seen him?"
He's been working with us at the tavern.
There's a moment where they kind of both look at each other, and then they look back to you, and they go, "Well, that's quite strange, because he normally comes and visits us on a regular basis, almost nightly, so that we can have a drink or travel around the city and just converse and enjoy our lives. What? It's extremely odd for a person such as himself to be working. You said he was working at your tavern."
Yes, it's taking care of the daily needs of the tavern. Quite diligently, actually.
He wanted to basically repay us for saving him.
Well, I must say that doesn't sound like Floon at all. Are you sure it was the same individual?
You want to take this one, Perry?
Well, I did cast a spell, and he is definitely not human. Whatever the Floon that was working with is. I wasn't gonna say it, but it sounds like there might be something more to it.
So at this point, the laughing and smirking coming from the two of them just kind of subsides immediately, and they give this look of worry over their face, and they go, "Well, that's most troublesome indeed. What what kind of entity did you say you sensed from him?"
Aberration.
This is most perplexing. I think I'm gonna have to start taking a look around to find him. We just figured he got a little fed up after our last visit and wanted to stay out of trouble for a little while. So we didn't think much of it when he didn't come around for a couple nights. But after hearing your guys' tale, it's become most troublesome.
What kind of aberration can wear a man's skin?
Volo's brow kind of furrows for a moment. He thinks about it. Well, in my travels, I have heard of stories of individuals that may have become possessed by one thing or another. I can't necessarily say I have seen them up close and in person myself, but if he is under some sort of sway, I can only imagine what their ulterior motives are. What has he been doing for you guys beside work?
All I've seen him do is cooking and cleaning, basically.
Yes, I haven't seen him do anything out of the ordinary. The only thing that happened was the carving in the floor that happened on his watch, and he was the only one. He was the first on the scene, so I guess it's possible he put it there because we're still not sure who did.
Carving was his interim symbol.
We took him from his interim hold, did we not?
Xanathar's hold.
Oh. Getting confused over the C's.
Technically, Xanathar's an X.
Well, this is most troublesome indeed. Well, this is not the way I wanted to start my morning by any means. But nevertheless, I thank you all for coming here and telling us this. We would have just assumed all was well when we saw him. Raynar, any thoughts? And you see Raynar sits back a little bit, and he's just kind of mulling over and thinking about everything that's going on, and there's a bit of worry on his face, but it seems to be as he chimes in. Well, a lot of this seems to be a little out of my depths, as magic is not my specialty. However, Volo, if you're saying that something might have possessed Floon, I think he needs to be brought in at once, don't you? Oh yes, of course, Reynard. I totally agree. But we don't want him to become hostile, no? Yes, I definitely agree with you there. I'll have to speak with a couple counterparts, see if they can help me locate and possibly figure out where he had gone.
Do you know his place of living?
I know that his father owns a small estate in the Sea Ward. That would be my most likely place to go first. I can see if I can speak with his father and see if he's seen him at all.
Do you want us to come with, or?
No, their family is a bit, how do you say, uptight. They are, like much of the noble class here in Waterdeep, they like to stick their noses as high in the air as possible, and they would not associate themselves with non-similar people, if you understand what I'm saying.
Sure.
I guess my benefit would be that my family name carries a bit of weight here.
Can I do an insight check on that whole thing?
Yeah, go ahead and roll an insight check. Um, it's a bit hard to read. You gather with the times that you've spoken with Raynar that he seems to be informative. He tries to stay on top of information that's going on with things within his immediate vicinity, and he does try to keep tabs on those around him. You don't get a sense that he's lying or anything to you.
Well, if you need any help, let us know.
Well, of course, I wouldn't hesitate to ask if I needed something. You've all shown yourselves to be quite capable of aiding those in need, huh? Speaking of, have you guys heard anything else between? And you see now that he starts to lower his voice a little bit more, and he gets to more of a bit of a hushed whisper as he kind of looks around for any kind of eye contact from other people watching. Have you guys heard anything else coming out of the Xanathar Guild or the Zentarum?
Nothing with Xanathar. We did do a job for what's the guy's name again? Starlove?
Davil Starsong?
Starsong. We did do a job for him not long ago.
And you see that he slowly nods, and you watch as he immediately looks over across the way, and he immediately makes, like, not eye contact with, but like, you get the sense that he knew exactly where Yager was sitting, and he just goes over to look and check, and then he looks back to you and he goes, right, well, mind if I ask what it was they wanted from you?
Elves being murdered in the docks ended up being a drow killing them.
Really? I haven't seen a drow in the city in a while. What happened to them?
We captured them, and the city guard took them from there.
Captain Staggett, I took it?
Yep.
Okay. I'll go talk with him. I haven't heard this news yet, so maybe I can gather something from that as well. I appreciate it.
One bit of news, though, from Starzone did say that his group of Zentarum are different from another one that's active in the city.
Yes, so my sources do tell me that there is another individual who seems to have broken apart from the Zentarum and have decided to make their own guild or faction, if you will, but with what's the best way to describe it? A alternate form of leadership. They believe that Davil and the Doom Raiders don't belong as leaders of the Zentarum. So there has been a bit of a falling out between them. And from what my sources tell me, there's been a lot more tension these past couple days. Apparently, and you watch as he kind of like shrugs his shoulders and gives like a bit of an eye roll, but he says, apparently word has gotten out that my father's supposedly lost artifact was discovered by one of these two factions. However, I can't tell which, and there's been a bit of a struggle between the two of them as they try to keep it for themselves. I'm still in the process of trying to figure out more about it myself, but I could only imagine that if the stories are true and if my father really did siphon off from the city coffers, it couldn't be good for either of them to gather so much dragons for themselves.
What was his artifact?
It's known as the Stone of Galore, from at least what I can tell. Let me pull up his info.
Wait, didn't we get something like that from the sewers?
No, they talked about it. We didn't actually get it.
Okay, it's
Yeah, I
been a
believe
hot
they.
minute.
Yeah, I believe they told us that they were looking for it, and whoever controls it controls Waterdeep, something like along those lines.
Essentially. Let me pull up the actual note of what he said, because he'll pretty much surmise these same things again for you guys. So give me 1 second. Where did I put it? Ba-ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Yes. So he begins to explain once more to you guys that according to rumor, my father embezzled a very large sum of dragons from the city of Waterdeep, and he hid it within the city. But he was ousted as the Open Lord while he traveled to Neverwinter and was unable to recover the gold himself. It seems rumor that this artifact, the Stone of Galore, has spread through the underbelly of the city, and the violence in the streets seems to have spawned over the possession of it. You see, I have no idea what the object is, or what it looks like, or who currently has it, but ever since I confronted my father years back for conspiring to kill the previous Blackstaff, he and I have not really been on speaking terms. More so, he's been extremely careful to tread around my presence. But I can tell you that at some point the Xanathar Guild supposedly had this stone, and they accused the Zentarum of stealing it from them. It's hard to say which faction of the Zents did this, but I can only imagine it wasn't Davil's group. And the more we've been investigating into their actions, it seems that this alternate Zentarum group may be behind it. And you can see that as Raynar is going over this information, he's just eyes wide, just listening intently. But at this point, he kind of just stops and he just looks at the group of you and he says, "All I know is that if the Zentarum or the Xanathar Guild get their hands on such a large amount of gold, it could only surely mean the upset of power within the city. The city itself is already poorly underfunded, as I'm sure you've noticed that many of the city guard and the city watch seem to not be as heavily enforcing areas that they should have. It's been causing them a lot of stress, which might have given rise to why this and he kind of nods in your direction, Clarion, this drow individual decided to go on such a murderous spree."
Sounds right.
It's an extremely troubling time. It might be time for us, Volo, to get ourselves a little more involved in this. What do you say? No, 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 my friend. My adventuring days are long but over. I write books now, you know this. And you see as he kind of taps onto the small satchel to his side. But you are still young and spry, my friend. If you wish to go sticking your nose in places where they certainly do not belong, by all means, just remember to bring it back to me to write, huh? There's a bit of a chuckle from Raynar. Then he watches, he kind of stands up and he says, "Well, I think I need to start talking to some of my contacts then, huh? This is, not the way I imagined rolling into the first weeks of summer, but I guess better late than never. Thank you all again for letting me know about this."
Yes, and sorry to bring you such terrible news. I had hoped it was just something simple, not dastardly.
Out of curiosity, is there any place you can think of that Foon may have gone when he was upset or angry, or some little hideaway?
He takes a moment to think about it. He goes, I've known Floon for a number of years, and I've seen the quarrels between him and his father, and generally whenever he was stressed or angry about something going on in his family, he typically sought me out right away. We grew pretty close together at that point. And you watch as his face kind of lightens up a little bit, and he goes, I think I have just the place. Thank you." And you watch as he goes to start rushing out the door.
But where?
And you watch as he starts walking down the spiral staircase. He kind of just shouts back over his shoulder, "At my place, of course." And he just kind of darts down through the first floor and out the window, or out the front door.
Probably not a bad idea to go there. Yeah. Back up in case something's bad.
Are you saying this to the group?
Yes.
It didn't seem like he wanted company, but I agree he might need it.
Well, if we detected Floon's an aberration, Floon's ran off, and his best friends have not seen him in a 10-day. And everything we've described is completely out of character, and he's running off to who knows what, and he's been captured before. If I was a gambling man, I'd say he's going to get in trouble.
It is unlikely that the Floon we dealt with over the past few days is the real Floon.
It's possible we never recovered the real Floon. He was just kind of given to us.
Exactly.
Let's go then before he gets too far ahead.
Okay.
So as you guys are having this conversation here, and Vol is just listening in, Ellis, you are tapped on the shoulder. And as you turn around, you see the...
Throw a punch. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, you can. You half-heartedly throw a punch, and you watch as your fist makes contact with a larger green hand, and as you kind of follow that hand up the arm, you look into the eyes of Yagra. And Yagra, she kind of looks over at you, and she goes, "Alright, it's a little early in the morning for that, huh?" And she lets out a large chuckle.
Wait, what?
It's you half-heartedly threw a punch at Yagra, and Yagra caught it and kind of laughed at you.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm asking Yagra, yeah, what?
Oh.
Like, I don't understand if it's too early in the morning to throw a punch.
I understand. I misunderstood. I apologize. She lets go of your hand. She looks at you. She goes, "Hey, you got a moment?"
Don't I always?
Right. Well, remember what you had talked to me last night about?
Yeah, all the street-like and stuff.
Right. She's kind of like looking at the rest of you as you're standing there. Well, I think I found a place for you. Are you free tonight?
I'll turn to the group. Are we free tonight?
We're still alive.
Yagra, we're still alive. That means we're free.
There was an if.
Well, have you ever heard of a place called the Singing Sword?
Have I?
No. you probably
nope.
not. Tizio, you might have.
Yeah, it sounds a little familiar.
But well, anyway, it's right around Bazaar Street and right next to the marketplace. It's a pretty nice little tavern, if I do say so myself. The attractions there pretty interesting, if you catch my drift.
I don't catch many drifts, but if it's a nice tavern, you're probably right. I probably haven't been there.
She kind of lets out this like low, long sigh, and she goes, "Right, well, I hear that the tavern looks even better at night, huh? Just go there and tell them you want to try the turtle soup."
Turtle soup. Sounds delicious. I can't wait. And I wink at Yagra.
At that point, there's a grin on her face that spreads across, and she goes, "Right. All right, well, don't get yourself in too much trouble, huh?" She kind of taps you on the shoulder a little bit, and she just turns around and walks away.
Hey guys, you down for some turtle soup tonight? I hear it's pretty good.
Sure.
You buying?
Of course I'm buying. Are you kidding?
What's happening tonight, Ellis?
I'll tell you later. Not for... You know, we're getting some turtle soup. It's supposedly soup made of turtles. It's... I'll tell you later.
Okay.
That was the
So you
greatest.
by chance involving yourself in illegal activity?
I smile and then, like, usher us out the door, like, I can tell you on the way home. Oh, actually, I will... Who asked me the question? Was it Tizio?
It was Calarian.
Oh, Clarion.
Yes.
I will telepathically tell him, yeah, I'm about to punch some dude's face in an underground fight club.
This, surprisingly, without lips moving, a voice permeates throughout your mind, Calarian, as this is said to you. This is a large
It's gonna
smile.
be great.
Large
I
smile
say out
comes
loud.
across his face.
I'm going to, as best I can imitate the action with my face, try to pinch the bridge of my nose in frustration.
Calarian essentially face palms. But
That is a sign of approval. All right.
Well, any more soups to discuss?
Alright, so as you guys gather your belongings and bid Volo a good afternoon, you guys are trying to rush your way down and out to follow after Raynar?
Sure.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Okay. As you guys are making your way down through the first floor, Tizio, you would notice that the entire time you guys were there, Bonnie was making eye contact with you.
Can I kind of go up to her? I guess on our way out.
You can, yeah. You can, as you kind of work your way through the crowd and make your way past her, she kind of, there's a bit of worry on her face.
Hey, I got your message. What do you mean? Keep my eyes up. And I'm just kind of whispering it to her.
Yeah. She kind of looks at you and she goes, this is not the best place. Do you have time? You all look like you're in a bit of a hurry.
Yeah. Right now it's definitely not the best of time.
You can catch up to us later if you need to.
Yeah, I can do that. And then I have time.
Okay. So, first things first. For all of you who are trying to chase after Raynar, one of you can make a perception check, or two of you can make a perception check, or one of you can make a perception check with advantage.
Ava can do one.
As you guys are just trying to like bust out of the front door and try to see which direction he went into before he gets too far out of sight.
Yeah, whoever's got the higher perception proficiency.
I got +5.
I have +2.
Okay. Within the brief bit of pause that you guys had as you were patiently waiting for Yagra to finish her conversation with Ellis, you kind of rush out through the front door, Eva, and as you kind of just look left and right through the main area of what this would be, as my mouse stops freaking out. Give me 1 second. Yeah, so right as you look on Rain Run Street, which is the main street for the Yawning Portal, you kind of look left and right, and you just barely see Raynar hooking a left up towards Snail Street, which is, it looks like he's heading north through the city.
I will shout out this way and start running after him right away so I don't lose sight of him.
Okay, so I guess my question would be, are you guys trying to follow him discreetly to not make yourselves known, or are you guys just trying to catch up with him and say, hey, we're gonna follow you?
I would vote for trying to catch up to him.
Yeah, same.
That works.
Okay, so it'll take you a moment or so as you're trying to rush out to catch up to him, but with enough ease, you guys do manage to catch up, and he kind of stops in his tracks for a moment. He says, "Oh, yeah. What's going on, guys? What's the matter?"
If you're coming with you if you're going to find Floon.
I mean, I was just heading to my house to go check and see if he might have stopped by there. He tends to do that from time to time when he's a bit angry.
Right. But given the situation and the past, it's probably best if you have some help with you, just in case.
Make a persuasion check.
Of course.
He reaches out and he places his arm on your shoulder, Calarian, and he looks at you and he says, "Look, I really appreciate the gesture, I do. And I don't have any doubt in your skill sets whatsoever. You guys saved my life after all. But I'm heading to my home, and I promise you, there's nothing Floon can do to me there. It's well protected, I assure you of that. I've been in this city long enough to know how to protect myself in my own home. And if all else fails, there's more than one way out of my doors, if you understand my meaning."
Well, maybe we should just let him be, Clarion.
Fine.
And he looks at the group of you and he says, "Look, rest assured, if anything goes wrong, I can get myself out of it. I will come find you straight away. I promise you that."
Yeah, but by then, where will he be?
I'm sure we can track him down again. There isn't too many people that can hide here without me knowing about it. And besides, if he does have some kind of ill will towards anyone, he won't keep hidden for long. At some point he'll have to reveal himself to do whatever it is he's out to do. But from what you guys have told me, was just cooking and cleaning, so what threat could he really be?
Famous last words.
Well, we'll see what happens, huh? And you watch as he gives you a nod of thanks and continues on. He's not rushing or anything, he just seems to be strolling up further up towards the high road, and you watch as he hails down a carriage and hops in.
He'd be out of earshot by this point, right?
Yeah, if you want him to be.
Alright, so we're going to go to the group. So we're still totally going to go to his house, right? Or am
I feel like if
being
he
too
sees us,
paranoid?
he's gonna be very, very upset with us. He definitely did not seem too keen on us going there with him.
It's
He
up
also
to you
seems
guys.
like a person that's relatively difficult to tail.
What do the rest do you think?
Yeah, we should definitely go to his house. Absolutely, 100%.
Did he say he'd only come to us if he found trouble and not?
He said that he would be able to escape from any danger from within his own house if he really had to, and that he would come find you immediately if he did get into trouble.
But there was never anything specifically around the lines of whether he would find him or not.
Yeah, he's not entirely sure. He said that in times past, Floon has gone to his house when he was angry at his father. So when you had prompted him, is there any place he likes to go when he's upset? He said, well, the obvious place would be my house, because that's where he's gone before.
Do we know where he lives?
No, he's never let us go to his house.
Never let us go to his house, but doesn't mean somebody doesn't know where he lives.
Well, none of you unfortunately know where he lives, but that doesn't stop you from tailing him
Or, asking around.
or asking around.
He's a nobleman, right?
He sure is. He
I mean,
is
that's going to be probably a common knowledge thing then.
Quite possibly. You're welcome to ask.
Maybe let's check in like an hour or two or something.
Okay. I mean, yeah, it is fairly easy to ask a few locals, and also, there was Volo at the Yawning Portal too, and he's pretty good friends with Raynar. So, go ahead and you can make a persuasion roll if you were trying to speak with Volo about what I imagine would be like his safety and wanting to protect Raynar. And that would give you guys the ability to roll for persuasion to get him to divulge that information.
You want to start there, or do you want to go? I first thought was go north and just find a guard in the right ward.
So the guards would be more suspicious with a bunch of armed people, especially someone who looks like me, asking, "Where's the nobleman live?" Yeah.
Well, Ava can start asking questions since your 5 is not there's not a lot of confidence there.
Well, while you guys are figuring out how that's gonna play out, Tizu, you stayed behind, right?
That is correct.
Okay. So you kind of sit off to the side for a few moments as you watch Bonnie goes about and finishes placing, various food trays and things away. And you see that she kind of takes a moment. She slips off the apron that she had on and just kind of tosses it over to the counter there. And she kind of looks at Durnan, and there's a bit of a muffled conversation. You can't quite make out what they had said. And then you watch as Durnan nods, and then you see Bonnie just kind of walks off and up the spiral staircase. And as she gets up towards the 3rd floor, you see that she kind of looks down at you in a come on sort of way, but doesn't exactly stop and wait for you.
I'll go ahead and grab my drink and try to, unsuspiciously go up there, I guess.
Okay, make a stealth check. Or this, yeah, make a stealth check.
Wah wah.
Okay. As you're making your way up through the spiraling staircase, it's still very crowded in here, and you're trying to get past people as you can. There's enough room for people to walk up and down the stairs at the same time, but it is a spiraling staircase, and as you're making your way up, there's 2 individuals that seem to have been horsing around on the stairs, and one shoves the other slightly down the stairs, and he kind of tumbles down a few steps and bumps into you. You kind of like drop your drink as it goes smashing down to the ground. There's a brief moment of silence as everyone kind of looks up at you, but then they start going back to their own business. But you find your way upstairs to the 3rd floor, and there are 2 long hallways of what appear to be like, room for board, rooms for rent, I should say, both down each of the hallways, and you can see that there is light emanating from one doorway that appears to be like slightly cracked ajar.
I'll kind of peek through real quick, and I'll just go ahead and go through.
Okay. Yeah, as you walk inside, you do see that within this bedroom is a very nondescript plain interior. A single candle is burning on a small table in the center of the room, and you can see that Bonnie is currently hands crossed, just sitting on her lap as she sits in a chair opposite from the bed. And she watches carefully as you enter, and she says, "Please close the door."
I'll go ahead and close it, and I'll go ahead and let her continue.
Okay. Give me 1 second. So, you close the door, and there's a moment where she just quietly sits and stares at you from across the way. Her light blue eyes seem to they seem to reflect a little bit of water as you see a little bit of tears welling up in her eyes, her red hair kind of like dangling in front of her face a bit. And she seems a little perturbed. And then she tells you, like, Tizio, I've known you for some time now, haven't I?
You have.
I I fear that I have come across some terrible news, and I'm uncertain as to whether or not it involves you. Do, does the name Sidiro mean anything to you?
Tizio was going to be thinking this whole time that she was going to be making moves on him, and as soon as she says that, I, kind of change attitude. Uh, kinda, yes. I've heard it around.
Well, they're a quite successful family business here within Waterdeep. They're known for making smoke powder. Um, uh, uh, they generally contract a lot of arms for the city guard and other various branches along the Sword Coast. It's it's almost a household name for some, but lately they've been focusing their attentions on gearing up militaries and things of the sort. Well, anyway, I feel that I have known you long enough that I can trust you with a bit of information about myself. But please don't be afraid. She kind of looks.
Please go on.
She looks at you for a moment, and there's this brief moment of uncertainty in her face, and you watch as the beautiful image of Bonnie that you've come to know over this past year or so suddenly begins to fade away and shift as the red hair slowly begins to shorten from shoulder length up to about her ear. Her eye color seemed to go to this dull gray, and her skin color almost matching the same suit. Roll a history check. You have read about these creatures before, but you have never personally met one. She strongly resembles what you understand as a changeling. And she kind of looks at you sheepishly, and she goes, "Please, don't be alarmed. I, this is my true form." And you can tell that her accent changed slightly as well.
And
Go ahead.
I apologize. Can you give the description again as to what she looks like now?
Sure. I obviously don't have artwork for these individuals, but her skin, her tone is more of a gray white, almost kind of like an albino skin type. She still has like normal looking human ears. They're not pointed or anything like that, but her eyes are a slate gray color in the irises. Her hair color is now this almost salt and pepper color, and it went from a, her hair was originally a deep red down to about her shoulder or the middle of her back. It is now extremely short, um, and up around her head, almost like a bowl cut that kind of slants to one side. And you watch as she kind of brushes her hair behind her ear momentarily, and she just kind of looks at you.
Holy shit.
Tizio, I came here to Waterdeep just seeking a better life for myself. I'm I mean no harm to anyone, I promise. It's just you understand that changelings are, like drow, heavily misunderstood, and usually outcasted from normal society. We have the ability to alter our appearance at will. But you have come to know me as Bonnie, and well, I like to think of myself as that person as well. So please, don't don't be offended or afraid. I mean you no harm. But that is not the point I wish to talk to you about. When I am not here working for Durnan, I actually work for a company called Acquisitions Incorporated. I tend to find information and relay that information to them. Recently, about 4 or 5 days ago, I was at a meeting and I overheard a strange conversation between two individuals. This human male named Garrett and a man wearing a hood. I couldn't see their face. And you watch now as her voice changes, but not her appearance. And you immediately recognize that. Well, no, I'm sorry, you don't recognize this voice. A higher toned, more rich voice comes in and goes, "He isn't dead, Garrett. It's unmistakable. I would recognize that left arm of his anywhere. He looks different now. He's running around with some pesky group." And then she goes back to speaking to her normal self. I I don't know who exactly they're talking about, but they seemed pretty intent about it. And the first person that I thought of when they mentioned an arm was you. I could see that this man in the hood, when he lifted his right hand, it had a large bronze gauntlet with a black diamond in the center. And I've only ever seen something similar on your left arm.
How long ago was this?
This is about 4 or 5 nights ago.
Bonnie, you're still Bonnie to me, and I guess you let me in on your secret, and I'll let you in mine. Yes, I am exactly who they were talking about. Um, my name isn't Tizio. My name is Andres Sidiru. My family is the Sidiru family, and we were attacked. Um, I'm the only one that's survived, unfortunately. And Garrett, I kind of like snap out of it. Like I kind of get emotional during that part, and I kind of snap out. And but you said you mentioned Garrett. Uh, the he did he say anything? Like what? Anything else went on with him?
Most of the time, Garrett was sitting there listening to this hooded gentleman. I... Garrett is a regular at Acquisitions Incorporated. He is one of their higher staffed members there. I think he sits on the board. I'm not entirely certain. He typically comes to us and asks us for information, and I don't know much about him.
Interesting. Is there any way you can find out more information? Where anything about Garrett, this hooded figure?
Make a persuasion check. Nice. There's a bit of hesitation in her voice, but she nods slowly and she says to you, I will do my best, Andreas, or Tizio. Oh, so confusing. Which do you want me to call you?
uh, and I kind of brush my head, like back of my head, real quick. Tizio, please keep calling me Tizio.
I understand, Tizio. Um, I will do my best to find out more for you, but you must understand this. I do not work for the nicest people. If they were to ever find me or find out what I was doing, I fear for my life.
I understand. Uh, if you can, you can. If you can't, you can't. Uh, I don't want you to risk your life just for me.
And she nods, and as she does so, you watch as the visage of Bonnie slowly starts to reappear, and her skin becomes the lighter tan color again. Her reddish hair starts to grow back down to its shoulder or upper back, and she stands up and she says, "Well, I think I've been gone too long, huh? I really should get back before Durnan gets mad. Please don't tell anyone, huh?"
No, I won't. And you don't tell anyone either.
I I was never here. And she kind of gives you a wink, and she quickly steps out of the bedroom.
I'm gonna wait a few minutes, 5-10 minutes or so,
Hmm.
and then just kind of if we moved anything, try to move it back in their location, like if nobody was ever in there, type of thing.
Okay.
And then I head on out.
Alrighty. With that, we'll flip back over to the other side. So, how are you guys going to proceed tracking down Raynar?
I think Perry's gonna split off the group and head back to the tavern.
I'll follow that.
Okay, so not following Raynar, just heading back to the tavern?
I don't know if Kalarian is still going, but Perry's not.
No, I talked about just checking.
Oh, I thought you
an
meant
hour
like.
or two.
Yeah, I thought you meant the yawning portal.
I think he meant our tavern.
Yes.
I'm confused now.
We're
I
not
think
leaving
Perry's
to the.
leaving.
So we're not leaving to the what'd you call it? Place that he's fighting at. Right, we're not leaving that till later, right?
That was in the evening. Yager had
Yeah.
told him to head to the Singing Sword in the evening.
Gotcha. Yeah. Do we need to do something at the yawning portal still?
It's up to you guys.
'Cause it's more. It should be more of an in-character question.
I don't think so, unless we were trying to convince Volo to tell us where Raynar lives.
I'm not trying to find Raynar. If he doesn't want to be followed, then I'm going to respect his wishes. Sounds like we need a new innkeeper.
Okay, so what's the plan? You guys just gonna kind of link back up at the Trollskull Manor, or anywhere else you wish to visit?
Yeah, I think Perry's just gonna head back to Trollskull.
I'll go with.
Okay. So, relatively somber walk as you guys make your way out into the brisk, warm air, and within a very short amount of time, you guys are able to link back up at Trollskull Manor. And when you guys do get there, you do hear what sounds like rummaging or something from the inside. And as you guys kind of make your way in through the front doors, you see that there again is Floon Blagmar, just in the process of cleaning.
What the fuck?
Kind of looks at the group of you as you enter and he goes, "Right, welcome back. Sorry, I needed some fresh air." Kind of looks at the group of you but avoids your eye contact, Perry.
Now Perry feels bad. Started this whole thing.
So, what brings you back? You need lunch? You guys haven't been around for lunch the past couple days. I can throw something together.
Sure. Sure, make some lunch, please.
He doesn't acknowledge you, but he turns around and starts doing it anyway. And with that, we will take a quick little break, and then when we come back, we can kind of roll into the night if you guys want, or if you guys have anything else you wanted to do during the day before that, we can tackle those things.
All right.
Sound good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so
Sound
we'll be
good.
back. Yes. Oh, you said sounds good. Okay. All right. So, yeah, so we'll see you all in a few minutes, and we'll see what happens at the Singing Sword this evening.
Alice is gonna punch something.
We'll see what happens this evening. We'll see you all back in a bit. Hello.
Hello.
Just waiting on Tizio, I think, to give us a thumbs up as well.
Yeah, man.
Hey. Tizio, you there?
He was the original. I'm back.
Oh, yes. Oh, he was. You're right. Didn't see a name next to it. Okay. Well, welcome back, everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get some good music in here. Apparently, I can't type. So, is there anything else you guys wish to have accomplished during the day prior to rolling into night?
I mean, are we just gonna like let Floon cook us food, eat it, and not?
Yeah, we're not gonna address the elephant in the room.
It's up to you guys. That's why I was asking.
It's worked so far.
Okay.
Yeah, but his friends just told us they haven't seen him in 10 days.
That's
we
very
can
true.
we could beat around the bush.
So
See
if
what
you
happens.
guys are wanting to inspect your food, go ahead and make a medicine check.
I didn't necessarily say that.
Okay. Well, what are you guys trying to? Are you guys trying to confront him? Talk to him? What do you want to do?
So, Floon, have you seen Volof recently? Raynar. How are they doing?
Without making direct eye contact with you, Perry, Flume kind of just like looks up at the table at the group of you as you guys are sitting down around waiting for lunch. And he goes, "No, I haven't bothered with them in a couple days. After that close encounter, I just felt it's best to keep my distance."
I don't think we were here for that. We never heard the story. What is it exactly that brought you together?
There's a bit of a sharp inhale and then exhale from his breath as he kind of looks over at you, Eva, and he says, "Well, about a week or so ago, these individuals here happened to save my life from impending doom. It seems that there was a bit of a mix-up, and I was mistakenly taken for as Raynar Neverember. Apparently, the Xanathar Guild had a couple questions for them, and in the process of being ambushed outside in the alleys, we were both taken, and then while we were about to be questioned, the Zentarum apparently showed up and killed all the Xanathar and took me instead of taking Raynar. How lucky." But nevertheless, prior to them interrogating me, well, a lot of you showed up and happened to save my life. Now I'm thinking about it, I had that entirely backwards. The Zentarum had kidnapped them, and prior to them being interrogated by the Zentarum, the Xanathar Guild came in and took Floon, mistaking him for Raynar. My apologies for the backwardness. So
Some
the
Z's.
Yep. So the this wonderful group here trekked me down through the sewers and stopped the Xanathar Guild from God knows what. But I only thought it best to repay the favor and see if I could be of service to them, to you.
Harry is gonna walk off, kind of like outside, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, outside's fine. And detect good and evil again. and then like walk back in like nothing happened.
Okay. So when you come back into the building, um, and you kind of sit down, you still detect that there is a strong aberration sense from Flynn. Nothing seems to have changed other than his blatant attitude towards you.
I'm reading the spell again real quick. Sorry. So it doesn't let me tell if there's something. I guess, does it seem like it's him entirely, or maybe if there's something smaller on him?
Okay. That is tricky. Let's see. No, I'm gonna say that it seems that his entire presence radiates that aberration sense. Oh, actually, as a note. No, never mind. But yeah, as you can tell, to the best of your knowledge, his entire being from head to toe radiates this aberration sense.
Well, we spoke to Volo and Ragnar earlier today. They were worried about you. They hadn't seen you in quite a while. I guess you usually hang out with them regularly.
Yes, it's true. You see now he's making eye contact with you. They are my friends. But, I mean, surely you must understand that I am not as strong as the group of you. My life was put on the line because of them. Who would want to be around such people that would cause harm to others? I thought it best if I spaced myself out and kept some distance for a while, at least until I felt it safe. I figured, what better place to be than with those who had stopped the Zenithar Guild in their tracks? Wouldn't you agree?
Yes. Do you remember everything that happened to you while you were with the Zenithar? Blacking out at all?
Make a persuasion check at disadvantage.
Oof.
There's a spell save for detect good and evil.
I
don't
I think that's just
think
a
there
default.
is. Yeah,
I think
okay.
that's a default.
Okay. 11. Um, he's making eye contact with you now because you're berating him with questions, but he looks at you and goes, I do my best to not remember as much of that night as possible. I was there a number of hours. Um, they they beat me pretty thoroughly. I believe, unconscious when you guys had woken me.
Oh, that's right. I remember now.
It was a time I best leave in the past. I'd rather not stay up at night thinking about it. But never mind me. I promise you, I'm just here to have a change of scenery, if you will. I mean you no harm.
Yes, yes.
Did you at least tell your friends, Bolo and Reynard, that you're okay? You mentioned you hadn't seen them in a while. We were going to go to the portal later tonight, potentially. Should we? Maybe you should come along. Perhaps we should let them know.
I mean, I was... Raynor was there when I was saved. He and I and Volo had all spoken at the table together when we went back to the Owning Portal. I took a day or two to myself and went back home to gather my thoughts. And well, that's when I realized that maybe I was not hanging around the best of people, and I thought maybe it's time I do something a little different with my life than spending my nights drinking with those vagabonds.
My
Can I
apologies.
do
I
like a?
didn't know the whole story.
Sorry, what'd you say, Eva? And then Tizio.
She just apologized for not having known the whole story.
It's not your fault. I imagine that you joined up with these people a little bit after. Tizio, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say if I can, like I guess insight to see if that's how he truly feels.
Sure, roll an insight check. I'll tell you what. Um, a little hard to read at the moment. You get a sense that he's extremely frustrated. There's a look of irritation on his face, especially while Perry talks. Um, but you notice that there was a shift in attitude when Eva started talking. You seen that his demeanor changed a bit, and he addressed her a little bit more politely. You're not entirely sure why. But a little hard to read.
Okay, thank you.
hmm
I'm just gonna whisper at Clary.
Maybe he doesn't know. He's a really good liar. Something could have happened to him.
I don't know what to make of this. I assume. Wait, are you like whispering, or like using a spell, whispering?
I am whispering to you. Yeah.
Not with magic. But you see, as he finishes placing the food on the table, he just kind of gives the group of you a nod, and he says, "Well, I think the repairs will be done soon. Does that sound right?"
Yes, hopefully within a day or so.
Well, I hope that my service in this past week or so has not gone unnoticed. And he kind of reaches into his pocket and pulls out what appears to be like maybe a few copper pieces left from the 2 gold that you had given him previously.
Perry will reach into his pocket and pull out another 2 gold.
Here you go. I want to leave you that money.
If I take this, am I to assume that I am still going to remain here in service?
Well,
Yeah.
there's. Yes, it's fine.
You watch as he reaches out and he takes the two gold pieces from you, puts them in his pocket, and he says, "Why, I hope to be of continued service to you, and hopefully business will be booming once you guys finally open. Have you decided on any plans for an opening ceremony?"
Not yet. There's still a lot of work to do.
Oh my, a party! What do you think about it? We should get the bard to play on the electric guitar.
I'll leave the party planning up to you guys.
Buying advertisements and stuff like that to get people to come here on day of is also going to cost us.
No, Dim, you did you say who specifically would help out with? Was it the guild we register with for being a tavern or an inn?
Correct.
To help us
The
with getting supplied.
It is the Fellowship of Innkeepers. They are the guild in Waterdeep that has. It's like the main register for all taverns and inns within the city. They help facilitate advertising local places that are new, like a new listing of places. They help facilitate all of the merchandise that comes in and out. So like if you guys need a vendor for meats and for alcohol, they point you guys to local people nearby to help deliver and facilitate those things. So there's like a yearly fee for that service, and it helps keep you on the up and up within being registered in the guilds.
Okay.
Durnan probably would have talked about some of that stuff with you, and he would have probably mentioned like, he pays, I think it's about 250 gold a year just to be part of that guild.
So we need more money.
But having that guild has been extremely helpful in running his business because he doesn't have to go around every month restocking his supplies. He picked what he wanted, and then it stays in a steady stream on time. He's never had a problem with deliveries and stuff like that. And as
Okay.
and as you guys are sitting there eating lunch and stuff, and Floon's going about minding his business. He comes back a short time later as you guys are eating, and he says, "Look, I've been giving it some thought, and I guess you're right. It was extremely rude of me to have just up and left Raynar and Volo without giving them some sort of heads up as to what my intentions were, instead of just angrily severing bonds with them. If you'll excuse me, I think I'll step out for the evening and go pay them a visit."
I can come with you.
So can I.
Make persuasion checks, each of you.
Can I? Yeah, I was gonna say, can I give her an advantage?
Sure. All right. He kind of pauses for a moment and looks at you, and he says, "Well, if there's something you need to address with them, I suppose you can come along. Sure." And you watch as he kind of finishes up doing whatever he was doing with tending to the bottom floor of the tavern, and he looks at the group of you and goes, "Well, I mean, if you're gonna head out, I'm probably gonna head out now."
Yeah, we'll come along.
All of you are coming.
Well, we're heading in that way anyway, so.
It's still like early afternoon for you guys.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah, what time was it?
Yeah, because he said he was gonna take the remainder of the evening to go visit friends.
Just leave the man alone.
Yeah.
I think we've done enough today for him.
Yeah, I'll follow Ava's lead.
Yeah, it's up to you. You said you were going with him. Did you want to tag along with him as he reunites with Raynar and Volo? This will take you through the evening because you will probably miss the singing sword.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of contemplating. No, I think I'd go with hang out with Ellis and stuff instead.
Okay, Eva.
Yeah, I don't really want to break the party up with this. Can someone in character remind her of the soup or something?
We're getting soup later.
The turtle soup.
I completely forgot. Ellis was so excited about the soup. Another time, I suppose.
Okay. Yeah, you take a look at his face and his. There was a bit of certain. Make an insight check, Eva. Okay. There's a bit of confusion on his face, and then as he was gearing up to kind of say, "Okay, yeah, there's going to be people with me," but then you see as it kind of relaxes a little bit and he goes, oh, all right, okay. Well, I mean, I'll be back in tomorrow. It shouldn't be a problem. I'll be here same time as always. And then you watch as he kind of waves goodbye to the group of you and heads out for the day.
Well, do we want to do anything about it? Are we gonna let it be? He's bound to find out now that everyone knows.
If that's where he's going.
I would just like to start the ritual of casting alarm every day on my room and my
On your
area.
room? Okay, you bet. I will note that. Who are you allowing to pass through? Everyone or nobody?
No one.
Okay, just you. Got it. Actual alarm or in your head alarm?
To the mile radius thing.
Right, but you get a silent alarm in your mind that dings
Yeah,
off?
yeah, that
or-
one. That
okay,
one. That one.
got it. Okay, yes. Noted. Is there anything else you guys wish to do before you press on for the evening?
Nope.
Okay. So, as you guys just kind of rest up for the day, for the night's ventures, the sun slowly begins to set, and now you can see that the purplish orange hues of the sky are beginning to crest over the city of Waterdeep, and you guys kind of unsure of what time exactly to be at the Singing Sword. You guys kind of mill about and say, well, maybe we should start heading out now and just take a look at the place. And you guys gather your things and you head out of Trollskull Manor, locking up as needed. And you start making your way down towards the castle ward, looking for the Singing Sword. So let me know when you can see the map. Yeah, so you guys are right here currently, up at the North Ward, and you guys will be taking some time to travel down towards the market right here. Let me pull that up. So, as you guys make your way to the north side of Bazaar Street at the head of the Street of Bells, you find, as you guys approach into here, a lively 3-story building full of what appear to be busy diners talking rambunctiously, their sounds carrying out over into the streets. Currently open, currently in quite busy. As you guys make your way in through the middle of this tavern, you see that there's this long spiraling staircase. Let me change up the music a little bit as well. Give me 1 second, sorry. That's the wrong one. Okay. So, you see this long spiraling staircase in the center of the tavern that leads to the upper floors and dining areas and the open central well of this spiraling staircase. Standing upright, hilt at the top, is this what appears to be a beautiful longsword made entirely of obsidian-looking metal. As you guys filter your way in and you find yourselves looking for a table that can seat the group of you, you take a seat, and shortly after you see that there are a few human females that are running around delivering food and drink to some. You can see that there are a number of male busboys that seem to be rushing about trying to clean up anything that other tables have left behind. You can see that there is a human male, very tall and kind of an overwatcher, just looking around out from behind the bar. But he seems to greet everyone as they enter into the facility, and he says, welcome to the Singing Sword. If you need anything, please just let us know.
What you guys serving for dinner?
Oh, well, we are known for having the largest assortment of foods here within Waterdeep. Almost anything we can imagine is on the menu. Just let us know what you are looking for.
How's your meat selection?
It's the finest that we can tell. If we have all sorts of pork and beef and steaks and soups of all kinds.
I'm gonna like nudge Ellis while he's talking, and be like, Turtle.
I know. I want to, beef up a bit. Do you guys have stuffed chickens?
Yes, we do. We have very delicious Cornish hens that we can prepare and serve with a nice glass of fine wine if you so prefer.
Sounds excellent. I need a meal.
Certainly, anything that you require can be provided to you. Generally, anything you guys order, probably run you about a platter, but it includes a very nice tall glass or tankard of ale or wine, your choice. But please go find a seat if you need anything. My name is Goth Morgan. If you require anything, this is my fine establishment here. You see that he pulls out from the side of his blue vest that he's wearing. Sure, why not? He pulls out a small pocket watch, and as he clicks it open, he looks at it briefly, and he snaps it shut, and he yells out across the hall, Sheila! Sheila, it's almost time! And you can see that there's a younger, dark-skinned female that was in the process of serving some drinks and foods. And you watch as she abruptly stops and passes off the tray to another server that's nearby. Excuse me. And she runs off into the back room. As you guys are sitting there, perusing over the menus of various meats and wines and ales that they have, you can see a few moments later, out from the back room, now standing there, is what appears to be a human in full plate armor, like from helmet down to feet, covered in this heavy looking full plate. And you can watch as the rest of the patrons in the tavern start cheering and clapping, and you can hear them all shouting out various different, Eva, you would recognize this, various different songs that typically people would request from, bards and things of the like when there's entertainment about to happen. And you're kind of looking at them like, what the hell's going on? And you watch as this individual who, after a few moments of walking, they seem to have a hard time kind of functioning in this plate of armor, but you get the sense that this is that same Sheila that ran off into the back, and she, to the best of her ability, walks up to the center of the staircase, and she grasps onto this obsidian-looking handle, and she lifts it out, and with two hands holding it above her head, you get the sense that it's quite heavy for her. There's a moment of silence, and after that moment of silence, a song starts loudly emanating from the center of the room. And as you all kind of turn your heads and look over into the corner, you can see it's emanating directly from the sword. And you hear that the people start cheering and clapping as the sword starts to get louder and pick up in this beautiful song of happiness and delight and joy. And you can hear that there's other individuals that seem to be cheering along, and some of them are caroling in with them, and as they're doing so, the sword seems to change its tone of voice to try to match and harmonize as best it can with those who are singing in.
I understand
That's
the
a
name
nice
now.
trick.
She's got a music sword. That is awesome. I want one of those.
What'd you say, Talon?
I understand the name now.
And you watch as she places the sword back with the hilt side up into the center of this pedestal looking place that's in the center of the stairwell, and it still continues to sing for the next about 30 minutes or so, this long ballad of a song, and people just kind of go back to milling about, talking, having their conversations, and you see that Goth Morgan kind of walks back up to you guys and says, well, so have you guys decided what you want to eat yet?
I'm definitely going with the stuffed chicken as my first course.
Certainly, we can provide that for you. And the rest of you?
I'll have the same.
Right, okay, well, easy enough to do. And you watch as he kind of jots down on a piece of parchment and just kind of walks off into the back. Short time later, you guys see that there's a large group of the servers come over to your table, and they start providing to you all sorts of wonderful smelling chicken, and it's not all cooked the same. A lot of it's cooked in various different styles. Some of it's grilled, some of it's roasted, some of it's it's extremely good, and you guys are extremely satisfied with the way it tastes.
This is pretty good.
So, when's the fight start?
Where's my soup?
Well, that's when I get seconds. I'm assuming. I'll when I finished my chicken, I'll call wave the whoever's serving us over.
Okay, yeah, the owner of the establishment, he it takes you a few minutes, but then he comes back over and he goes, oh, so I hope everything was to your liking.
Oh man, it was delicious. I need to come back here more often. I'ma tell you. In fact, it's so good. I was thinking of getting seconds.
Well, we can certainly provide. It shouldn't be a problem. We can just add it to your current tab.
And I will telepathically speak to him. How about the turtle soup?
His demeanor changes like dramatically, especially to the fact that he has no idea who the hell just said that to him. You see as he's kind of looking around for a moment, and then he just looks right back at you, and he goes, I'm sorry, what?
I smile and do the same thing. How about the turtle soup? And then I'll wink at him.
He he's a little perturbed at the fact that you're entering into his mind. You get from the look on his face, but he just kind of nods for a moment, and he looks around the room and he says, "Ah, yes. Well, just a moment, please." And you watch as he turns around and he kind of walks off for a moment. You guys wait maybe about 5 or so minutes, and then Goth Morgan comes back, and he excitedly on his face looks at you. He goes, yes, we can definitely get you guys a private room. It shouldn't be a problem. I was just able to secure it for you. Please, right this way. And you watch as he gets up and he just starts making his way to the staircase in the center of the room, and you see that the spiral staircase leads downward.
Huh, that's weird, Perry. We need a private room for turtle soup.
Very expensive soup.
Yeah, it must be illegal.
Do you guys follow?
Yeah.
Okay. So, the group of you are taken downstairs to what can only be described as a very large and elaborate what looks like a dining area. However, the dining area is lifted up on these two platforms on the side, where there are a few tables on the left side and the right side, and within the center of the dining table appears to be this large open pit of some kind. It seems to have this very thin layer of what, to the best you can tell, sand or something just in the middle. And there are, sconces along the walls that are with slow burning candles that seem to be illuminated in the area. And you can see that you guys are not the only ones down here. There appear to be a dozen or so other individuals that are just currently in the process of just having hushed conversations amongst themselves. And they all kind of stop briefly and watch as the group of you enter.
It's a bit fancier than our typical alley, isn't it, Ellis?
You normally eat
Oh,
soup in
yeah.
an alley?
Where else would you eat soup? You people confuse me.
So the owner, Goth Morgan, he ushers you all down into the central area here, prior, and just turns around and looks at the group of you, and he goes, "It's you guys were a little earlier than I expected. I assume Yager had sent you."
She did indeed.
Well, and you watch as he kind of looks back behind your guys' shoulders just to see if anyone might have followed, and and then he has this more serious look about his face. He goes, Let me introduce myself properly. I am the owner of the Singing Sword. My name is Gothmorgan Illibold. I have been running this establishment for quite some time, and I imagine that if Yager were to tell you about our alternate forms of entertainment, that you must be ones to keep your mouth shut.
I chuckle in his head again.
Yes, please stop doing that. It's quite disturbing.
Sorry.
Now, who here is looking for a challenge? Are you all
Yeah,
looking
that
to
would-
compete?
Calarian, you should join me.
I
what
didn't
is-
actually know I was there.
Oh, is he not there?
It's up to him. Did you want to follow with them when they left for the evening? I wasn't sure.
Did everyone go?
Everyone, I'm assuming everyone went. You don't have to go if you don't want to.
Yeah, Tizio did go, obviously.
And Perry, because he had talked to Perry.
I went
Alright,
as well.
I guess Rhett caught it that I went.
Yeah, not a problem. Yeah, you guys all kind of just mulled about for the day and then went together.
But yeah, I say it's... I volunteer as tribute, or whatever that means.
Can we bet on it?
Pardon me. As the owner clears his throat for a moment, he looks at the group of you and goes, yes, there will be a chance to bet on the fights. However, if you are partaking in the competition yourself, you cannot obviously bet on yourself. Or bet at all, for that matter, I should clarify. But as you see, there are, and he kind of looks over, patrons here who enjoy that sort of thing. The alternate form of entertainment seems to liven up their spirits a bit.
Is there somewhere I can view the odds, the stats of previous fights? You know, the details.
It's like asking someone to keep log of their illegal activities. No. However,
There's not even odds on the fight.
there will be, depending on who's fighting.
What are the rules exactly?
Well, we have two forms of combat here. You can only choose one of the two if you wish to participate. We have unarmed combat, which would be you mano a mano against one of our reigning champions. Obviously, it is the first one to be knocked unconscious. That is when the fight would end. There are no weapons allowed, no magic to be used. Our second form of combat is a no holds bar. Not fight to the death, but a fight nonetheless. There will be bloodshed, and for those of you who are a little squeamish at such things, please, best keep your distance.
And I know this is maybe a little bit of an odd question, but how do you guys feel about um animals in the ring?
Well, we typically don't bring animals as combatants here, as that is quite
Yeah,
unhumane.
a figure of speech. I meant like people who are willing to use their teeth.
Well, if you are looking to any form of unarmed combat that is not man-made would be acceptable. But
That's
if
all
you
I
are
was asking.
but if you are looking to swing a sword and wear and use any of your martial prowess to your benefit, there, as I said, we can arrange a armored fight for you. Keep
Swords are
it
boring.
well. Possibly. However, our patrons do seem to enjoy that quite a bit more. I can tell you that there would be 2 different prizes for each different fight. If you choose to fight unarmed, it'll cost you 20 gold pieces to enter. Total prize for the winner would be about 200. If you choose a armored fight, it'll be 50 gold to enter, with a grand prize of 50 gold, or 500 gold to the winner. But the choice is yours, but you only may select one of the 2.
Costs more to enter. No, the armored costs more to enter, but more for winning.
Also, one has the chance to die.
No, my young friend. We definitely have, and you watch as he kind of points over in the corner, and you can see up on one of the smaller tables up on the ledge there is a what appears to be an individual wearing a very fine set of robes that are black with hints of silver, and they're just sitting there, arms crossed, just kind of watching the group of you currently as Goth Morgan is talking to you, and then just kind of looking around at the rest of the group, just minding his own business. We have individuals to prevent any kind of death at our doorstep, as that would be bad business. So rest assured, fight to your heart's content. No unwanted harm will come to you.
Perhaps one of us should enter each. It's our only chance to win both.
How do you feel about the arcane?
I believe he said no magic.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Correct. These are, you have a fisticuff fight, and you have a sword and steel fight, or a sword and shield fighting, if you like. Which, I mean, yeah, it's basically no holds bar, but the only caveat is the bar is magic.
All right.
As
Which
it
one
would give
hurts more?
Well, that's entirely up to your level of tolerance, isn't it?
All right, I'll take the armored one with swords.
Fabulous, fabulous. It would, are you the only one going to be participating?
I'll look back at Clarion.
I'll be betting.
Why are you looking at me?
So, you want to join in?
No thanks.
Yes, I'll be the only one competing.
Are you sure on that, Galarian? It's a nice way to test out that fancy sword I kind of helped with.
Are you trying to guilt trip me into fighting?
No, I'm just saying, any bit of practice. It's not every day we get to fight someone. I kind of look them up and down. As big as you, like, it could be good practice.
500 gold's 2 years of guild membership.
Kind of torn because like I'm not supposed to do illegal stuff.
Yep.
I'm still gonna pass.
A wise
suit
choice.
yourself.
So, if there's only one combatant, that's perfectly fine. I'm sure I can arrange someone to fight you. What is your name?
They call me Ellis.
Ellis. It's wonderful. And again, my name is Goth Morgan. It's my pleasure to meet your acquaintance.
Goth, you and I are gonna be best friends. I can already tell.
We'll see how you do in the pit. But please, as I said, you are rather early for such an event. It'll be some time before I can get someone to challenge you, and we do have to wait for the upstairs to clear out a bit, so please feel free to settle in. Have a drink?
Yeah, I'll let that chicken settle in.
Wonderful, and
Also, I'm a bit eager, so we were a bit early. I apologize.
I totally understand. Thankfully you weren't... And he looks over the stairway again. Followed. So, it will...
Be more discreet next time. For sure.
Right. So it'll cost you 50 gold to enter.
Anyone wanna help me out?
I'm short
How
for
much do you need,
change.
Ellis?
Wait, so you wanted this competition, but you didn't have the funds for it?
I didn't know I was going to have to pay to beat people up. That just seems counterintuitive.
Ellis, how much do you need?
I'll pull out 48 gold and 20 silver.
Oh my god. I want 5% of the winnings if you win.
You know, that's only if you back me up.
Yeah, if the gold, for the gold, I'll cover the rest of your fees.
I mean, I can pay for all of it.
You said you had 48 gold and 20 silver. Oh wait, you're right. I'm really bad at math. How much to buy a stake in the? How much to buy a stake in your performance?
If you give me 5 gold to help, I will give you 25 gold on return.
Yeah, immediately.
All right.
Same.
You watch as the owner is chuckling like profusely at the group of you as you put together your funds for this, and he goes, "Wonderful, wonderful. Well, when we do finally find a champion to fight you, there will be odds that you guys can bet on the side against us here at the house. We will let you know what those odds are once we find an individual."
All right. I'm excited. Goth, you've got me good. I am ready.
All right, so go ahead and between you guys mark off your 50 gold as payment, and it'll take you guys. You guys will probably end up sitting there for about 2 to 3 hours prior to the tavern upstairs itself closing, and then once the tavern closes, you see that now the number of patrons went from about a dozen to about 3 dozen individuals. And it's rather crowded in the space, but let me go ahead and pull you over. As my cat claws on my chair. Prince, I will murder you in your sleep. So here we are. Let me know when you guys can see it.
Can't see.
Yep.
Alright.
Perry's looking for the betting guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm looking for the
That's
odds.
terrible music. Yep. So, I want better music than that. Okay. So, as you guys are sitting there patiently waiting for an individual to show up, you can watch now that Goth Morgan comes back down the stairs and he says to you, "Attention, ladies and gentlemen, please, we have a wonderful event set up for you to this evening. And you see as he's making his way into the center of this pit, and the rest of you guys on the side platforms, that you guys are raised up a good 30 or so feet off the air. We have a new contender this evening here at the Swinging Sword. First time in our midst. May I please welcome Ellis? And you watch as the crowd starts cheering and clapping.
I'll take out my hammer and just like lightsaber it around my body.
Yeah, the crowd starts cheering, go, whoa, yeah! And you see there's a lot of commotion for it. Next up, we have our returning champion, all the way from Westgate. He is large, he is mean. Please welcome Drake. And you watch as this large, dragonborn, brass-colored, makes his way down the spiral staircase, and he starts walking his way up towards the center of the ring. And taking a look at him, Ellis, you can see that he's wearing what appears to be like this very dirty, kinked up pieces of chainmail that's covering his torso, and then he has like heavy metal on his legs. And on his side, you can see just on one side of him there appear to be two very long and thin-looking swords of some kind. He walks his way casually into the center of the ring, and he looks at you, and he just kind of grunts, and you see a bit of steam pushing out from his nostrils. So for this fight, odds are 3-1 against Ellis. So for those of you who wish to find you see that there is a gnome that is currently like just kind of running up and down between the two platforms, and he's carrying this like ledger, and he's just in the process of like taking down bets, and you see that he's laden down with a lot of coin.
Can I like look at the guy he's gonna be fighting and see how tough he looks?
Make an insight check.
I was going to say if I can kind of look at the odds and like, do they show like why those are the odds or anything like that?
Well, they are the odds because number one, he's a returning champion, and number two, because Ellis is a new combatant, so they have no idea what his skill is. And you can hear the whispering between the other individuals. This individual, Drake, has won in this competition 5 times in a row.
Before we put bets, over the table question. My reading of Bardic Inspiration is that it is not magic. Am I going to call the entire tavern down on me if I try to use it?
You are welcome to try.
I guess you can play music kind of in the background, and maybe Ellis will hear it.
You can inspire others through stirring words. All I have to do is yell out and cheer them on.
You are certainly welcome to try.
Can I? Obviously, I'm kind of going off the his opponent's record and whatnot. Based on how he looks as well, can I kind of judge if the odds are? Can I calculate if the odds are correct here?
So taking a look at this Dragonborn individual, he's a brass Dragonborn. He appears to be in his early 20s or so, but he looks heavily scarred on one side of his face. As you can take a look at his gear, his gear appears to be not damaged, but it has taken like damage. You can see that there are slashes in his armor. You can see that there are places where it looks like it has been repaired, like some of the chains have been ripped out and new chains of brighter silver have been placed in their place. You see that he's wielding these two very long but thin swords that you can roll a history check, but at first glance it's almost something you haven't seen before. But to the yeah, you are probably not familiar with these weapons in particular. They appear to be crafted specifically for his use, but you're not entirely sure what they would be called. But essentially, for a visual for you guys, they're katanas. Um, but best you can tell, just from you don't know how the guy fights. You've never seen him fight before. He looks tough, and he looks ready, and you can see that he pulls out both of these long blades, and he holds one in each hand, and he watches. He lowers his stance, and he just stares at Ellis intently. Okay, so yeah, for everyone putting down bets, you got Perry putting 10. Eva's doing 30. Is anyone else betting?
I will do 30 on Ellis's opponent.
Whoa. Okay. Okay.
As he's staring at me intently, I'll probably be like, I'll stare at him and I'll point at him and I'll be like, I don't know who you are yet, but I already respect you. Don't disappoint me. Start twirling the hammer.
Ava's gonna shout out now. Yeah, I'm gonna try this. Ava's gonna shout out now and say, "You can take him, Alice. It's only one of them."
Yep. Go ahead and take a d6. 10 on Ellis. Okay.
I'm going to attempt to continue to do that in combat if he ends up using it. So I don't know if you want me to roll initiative for it, or if you want to just tag him on as we go.
Ooh, good call, man.
We'll see. Alright, so you have a d6 inspiration die from Eva. The Dragonborn looking across from you, you watch as he lowers his stance and he's holding these two long swords in both hands, and he just kind of leans forward to you and he goes, I don't know what brought you here, but don't cry on the way out. So we got Perry, Eva, Tizio, and Talum all betting. Tizio, so you're aware for odds wise, 3-1 against, meaning that you'll only get double your gold if the other guy wins.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay.
I'm kind of going off the calculations, obviously, or the odds, excuse me, and I feel like Tizio would kind of calculate things and base how this guy's the champion and whatnot. I think he will he'll still stay the champion type. He has it seems like he has a lot of experience, so for a young age. So I'm going to bet with him.
Okay. Claire, are you betting at all, or are you just kind of sitting there like shaking your head?
The latter.
Okay. So at this point, Ellis, go ahead and roll initiative.
Alright, here we go!
And DM,
Yes.
during this, while everyone's making bets and there's all this shouting and stuff like that, kind of look around the place to see if anyone's suspicious, a hooded figure, just anything like that, and maybe someone may be staring at us.
Wonderful. Make a perception check for me. Nice. Okay. Taking a look around, a large number of the individuals that you see here appear to be noble, from best you can tell. Just kind of looking at their ascots and their attire. A lot of them are well-to-do individuals that are just like they seem to have this inkling for some kind of gambling of sorts, and they enjoy this. At the moment, you're not seeing anyone that particularly looks shady or out of place, other than you're all out of place being here. But with that, you watch as Goth Morgan, standing in the center of the chamber, he says, "Who will remain champion? Or who will become the new? Let us find out now. Fight!" So, with that, You rolled the higher initiative, so you go first on this.
I would like to play.
All right, so you use bonus action to go into a rage.
And
Uh-huh.
as a note, I'm gonna try and keep it relatively hidden under my cloak for now, but I'm using Beast Tail, for my rage.
Got it. Okay, so yes, so you were taking the beast tail form as you rage. Got it.
Yes.
Good to know.
And then I'll run at him. I'm
Okay.
assuming I have enough movement to get up to him. Yeah, 30 feet. And I will attack him.
Yeah, go ahead and make an attack.
It's exciting. This will be with advantage. I'm going to reckless attack.
Okay. Go ahead and make your attack roll. 13. 13 does not hit, unfortunately.
Nope.
You can add that. You could add the bardic inspiration.
You can.
I can.
It's a d6.
13. Jeez.
I have no
I've got
idea
two
what
more
that
to.
means.
I've got 2 more to stick on you if I can manage it.
Yep.
All right, I'll roll it. I know these things come down to the wire.
What's the range of your
does
bardic
it-
inspiration?
You can cast it on anyone within 60 feet.
Okay, so you're 30 feet off the ground. Just keep aware of that. So 15 does not hit, unfortunately.
All right.
All right.
Rip.
So as you rush up in this happy fit of rage, you leap and you swing down with your maul, and you watch as with this swiftness, both of the swords they cross over in this X, and it blocks and just shoves your maul to the side, seemingly
I
unaffected.
smile.
He smiles back, and there's a steam pouring out from the sides of his lips, and he just kind of looks at you and goes, "Come on, bring it already." So that'll bring us to him. So he is going to go ahead and he's going to use some of his movement to kind of flank to your side with this quick darting motion. And he's going to go ahead and, because you used Reckless, he's going to go ahead and his attack will get advantage. He gets his main attack, and then he's going to offhand you with his second katana. So he's going to get 2 attacks on you.
Hold up. Before you roll your attack, I
Yep.
just need to read something so I don't.
So when you roll the d8, you can add that to your AC for that one attack to see if it'll miss.
And I can roll that after you roll.
Yeah, so
Yes.
I roll, and then you can reaction use your d8 to boost
Right.
your AC.
So it's like shield.
Well, no, because shield lasts till the end of the turn. This is for that attack.
Oh yeah. This is just an attack.
Yeah, so
Heard.
you get to block 1 attack per round, basically.
All right.
All right, so he's gonna make his first. So you watch as he slashes to your side with his right hand, and then he'll come back around with his left.
All right.
Since you
Can
are
I-
raging, you'll be taking 8 points of slashing damage, but you can use your reaction if you want. I don't. You'd have to roll high on this because you have a 15 for your AC, right?
Yep. So, I guess I'm just gonna try and block.
Yeah.
I'll try and block the first one because
Of
that's
course.
what I would have done.
You bet. So 15 plus 6 is
15.
21.
Oh, still hits.
Just enough to slash through. Yeah, you watch with this, because this will use your tail, so we'll reveal it. So you all
Oh,
watch.
yeah.
You all watch now as that first swipe to the right. You see that right behind Ellis's cloak, this long, spiny-looking, like bone-like structure just tries to whip up and block and make contact with the sword, but just gets thrust out with this unexpected power from this guy's right slash, and it just kind of careens across you, and that'll do 3 points of slashing damage. And then he just quickly follows up, and you see he's a little bit perplexed at the idea. He didn't see that coming at first, but he adjusts accordingly and slashes you again for another 5. But he'll look at you and he'll say, "Oh, you got some tricks up your sleeve, huh?" And that'll end his turn.
All right. Going at him again.
Ava will attempt to drum. I think I am within range.
Okay. Let's see, 30 feet. Yeah. I'd say you're
If
up.
I'm standing at the edge, I think I'm just barely within range.
You bet. So you will get another d6 for this.
So
Wait.
use your creepy tail thing, Ellis.
Yeah.
All right. Going reckless again, because that's how I fight.
Okay.
Jesus.
10 does not hit, unfortunately.
I'm.
You can use
I don't even know if
It's
I
a
can.
D6, right? Yeah. I mean, you can
Yeah,
try.
but I don't. Nope, I'm not. I'm not gonna add it.
Okay. Yeah, not
At the end
good.
of my turn.
All right. So again, you just try to, as you kind of like smile at the slash across the side of your body, you kind of look back over at him, and you just happily just kind of backhand with your maul, but this time he's just ready for it, and he just kind of ducks back a little bit out of the way, just missing him by inches. He's just gonna go right ahead and swing back at you, and he said,
Come on, take a hit,
is
you
this all you
slippery
got?
bastard.
He's gonna take another main hand and then an offhand.
All right. Jesus Christ, dude.
Yeah, Reckless is helping him a lot. So
All right, I'm gonna.
you can roll, yeah. If you
Can
want to burn
I-
your reaction, it's your call.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's all I can do at this point.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Yeah. There's no way I could block
Yeah.
it.
Okay, so you'll take 12 points of slashing damage on this one, unfortunately. In total, as he kind of looks at you and he goes, you see now that as he does so, he's just gonna kind of look around at the crowd and go, "Is this what you brought me?" And that'll end his turn.
All right. Well, I'm gonna realize he's being a little slippery and not go reckless this time.
All right. 17 just misses.
Right. Bardic Inspiration. Does an 18 hit?
Did you roll a? Well, yeah.
I rolled a-
Yeah, that's true.
Oh,
I didn't see it, but yeah, 18 does hit.
awesome!
All right.
Finally. Lord of mercy.
So this time you see as he kind of gets a little cocky and he puts his arms out and he kind of yells out to the crowd, and the crowd's all cheering, "Woo, Drake!" You just kind of smash him into the center of his chest, and he kind of stumbles back a little bit, so he'll take 9 points of damage.
Worst rolls ever. Just,
He's
Like the
also
old-
rolling crazy good.
He's rolling
Yeah.
stupid good, and I've simmed this out like a bunch. All right, so now he kind of looks at you now that you landed that impact on him. Have you been keeping track of Are you keeping it on your character sheet or?
yes, yeah, I'm
Okay.
keeping track of it on D&D. Beyond.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right, and then looking at you there, he's just gonna kind of stumble back a little bit and go, "Ha ha! Finally getting you out of your shell, huh?" And he's gonna go ahead and he's going to take his turn to. Yeah, so you watch as he kind of closes his eyes briefly and he lets out this long and you see this large amount of smoke billowing out from him in front of your direction towards your face, and he's going to use his fighting spirit to give him advantage for one attack. So, and then he's going to go ahead and swing down on you for 15.
All right, I will reaction block it.
You bet. Go ahead.
I don't need to roll. It auto blocks.
Correct. Anything
My
higher
AC,
than 15.
yeah.
Absolutely. And then he will take this temporary hit points. Yeah, all weapon attacks, but because it's a bonus action, he can't offhand with his second, so. Yeah. We talked about this, Talum. Alright, so, you are able to just parry it out of the way with your tail, and he's looking at your tail, and he's a little frustrated, but he lets out this, "Alright, then bring it!" And that'll end his turn.
Right.
This isn't going very well, but it could go a lot better. There's your last inspiration die.
You got one more d6.
Lord have mercy. 15. Yep, I'm just getting a little frustrated, so I'm gonna reckless again.
Okay.
I really need to hit this guy. Does a
24
24 hit?
definitely hits.
Wow, look at that damage, guys.
Min damage hype.
So as you lash out your tail to block one of his katanas out of the way, it kind of curls around the sword a little bit, and you kind of pull him in with a bit of a thrust, and he goes, "Hurr!" and you slam into him again with your maul, and he stumbles back one more time, and he goes, that's more like it. Anything else? Staying where you are?
No, that's all I got.
All right. So with that, he's going to go ahead and try to swing around you one more time, just trying to dart around past your body. And he's quite nimble for as large as he is. He's actually a little bit taller than you. He's about 6'2". And he's going to go ahead and swing at you again, this time using, like he did at the beginning, both swings with both swords. And he'll get advantage because you got Reckless. And don't click on that.
Hey, quick question on Reckless.
Yes.
DM. Is it advantage on, and seeing how this is against Tizio, but is it Reckless? Excuse me, advantage on both attacks or just his first attack?
Any attack
It's all
that is
attacks.
against you gets advantage because you're basically going all in.
Gotcha. Okay, sorry.
No, you're
All right.
perfectly fine for asking.
I'm gonna try and block the 18.
You bet.
Nope.
All right, so that'll bring you 7 down to 3 points and 5 down to 2. So 5 total for the round. And with that other quick double slash in almost this X-like shape, he kind of slashes onto the side towards your back, and he watches as you kind of stumble forward. And he just goes, "Don't end it too soon, huh?" And that'll end his turn.
All right. I'm attacking not recklessly.
All right.
Using Bardic Inspiration.
Yeah. That'll do it. 20 will definitely hit.
All right. 11 damage.
You bet. And I think that was the last inspiration for the round, right? Or for the match?
I'm tapped out.
All right. Yeah, and this time as you kind of slash back at him, it's getting kind of annoying that he's just trying to dart around you a lot. But you're kind of getting in rhythm with his pace now, and you see that he's breathing a little bit heavier. You're doing some good damage to him. He's looking rough, but he kind of laughs at you. Oh, actually, he gets to subtract 5 of that from his temporary hit points, so let me fix that. So, beautiful. And yeah, he's still looking pretty beat up. He's taking some hits. You see there's some blood trickling down the side of his shoulder now, but he's extremely happy. He's smiling. Is it end your turn? You staying where you are?
I mean, there's no point in moving, so yeah.
All right. I'm just asking. All right, so that was a normal attack for you, right? All
Yep.
right. So he is going to go ahead and just kind of taking a look at you. He's going to go, "All right, fine. We can trade blows." And he's going to use another fighting spirit again to gain advantage on one single attack for the round.
All right. Gonna try and block it.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, all right. And so this time now you're getting in that rhythm, and you're able to see the sword coming as he tries to blow that smoke in your face one more time. You're ready for it this time. You kind of put both hands up on the maul and you just push him out of the way. He's like, "Oh, it took you a little bit to get started, but I like it." That'll end his turn.
Go, boy. All right. Maul attacking him.
Go for it. 9 does
That'll
not
miss.
hit, unfortunately. And you see, like, there's a lot of the back and forth now between the two of you, and the crowd's cheering and jeering, and there's a lot of gasps and excitement going on for the room. They're like, "Whoa! Oh my God! Did you see that?" Staying where you are. A bonus action. Anything else? No. Okay. So he's gonna go ahead, and now he's just gonna go ahead and take 2 regular attacks against you with his main hand and then his offhand.
Right, I'll try and block that offhand attack.
You bet. Go for it. Woo.
Yeah, that'll do it.
No, that'll put you at 23, so it should still go through.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, so
Unfortunately.
why
But
would
that
I
was
even
but that
roll?
was an amazing roll. That was a really good roll. Sorry, but he does manage to kind of force through. He's starting to understand now. It's like, okay, I'm swinging, and you're just pulling up that tail at the right time. And he just managed to slice through and push that tail out of the way. You'll take 3 points of slashing. And then he will stand there at the ready.
Great, well, attacking with them all, because it's 21 to hit.
Definitely hits. Ooh, that 10 on a D12, man. Or no, 10 on 2d6. That's nice. Yeah. All right. So that'll be 7 total after the temporary hit points are gone. Beautiful. Oh, I subtracted his AC. I did the wrong thing. Nice. All right. Yeah, exactly. Okay. So in return now, you see that like you're both looking really rough, and you're breathing heavy, and you see that there's blood now dripping from the both of you, and he's just staring at you now. He's just trying to look you up and down, and then this time he just tries to go for a lightning quick strike with both swords, but you watch as one kind of faints off to the side. He's going to use his last fighting spirit to gain an advantage on a single hit.
Oh, to roll an 8. Are you kidding?
Oh.
Nope, just hits me.
So that'll be 9 down to 4. And he'll gain 5 temporary, but that's the end of that for him. And that will end his turn. He's like, one of us will be standing at the end. And he just stands there. He's just this huge smile on his face. You haven't seen anybody as excited to be in this fight as you normally are. And your heart's racing. It's super exciting.
Yep. Ellis is having a good time. Kyle is a little on edge. I am hanging on the edge of my seat right now. Woo! But Ellis is having a great time.
Yeah, but
all right.
He's looking hurt, man. He's barely hanging on. Like, you are both you're trading blows and you're trying to dodge as best you can, and you're doing some good damage to him.
All right, going for that last attack here. Nope, not gonna hit.
15 does not hit, unfortunately. Yeah, he's just able to just block out of the way here. And you see now that he's panting and breathing heavy for a second. He just goes, it's one of the closest fights I've had in a while. And he's just gonna lunge back into you with two normal attacks.
I'm down.
Oof.
Yep.
And with that, you watch as
Jesus Christ, his rolls, dude.
I'm sorry, I'm getting really lucky on these rolls.
Yep, it's all right.
With that final loud roaring thrust, the crowd goes silent momentarily as he watches as Ellis, you get pierced into the abdomen for a moment, and there's this and then you just kind of fall down to the sides of your knees, and then you immediately watch as the rest of you there's this moment of oh shit, and then you watch as the what appears to be the robed figure in all black and silver just immediately just jumps off of the side of the railing and then rushes over to you, and he's going to go ahead and cast Cure Wounds at 3rd level.
Magic.
I think it's a D8 per level, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I'm even rolling good on my healing, guys. So he'll bring you back up to 23 hit points, and you're prone on the ground, and you just come to consciousness now as you watch as this.
Nope. I didn't win. I can feel it.
That was rough. And you watch now as the crowd that was standing over you all, they're they're not sitting in their seats anymore. They're on the edges of the rope now. They're just, as soon as you come back to consciousness, they all start cheering at like the top of their lungs. They're extremely like excited about the entire course of events, and everyone's just yelling and cheering, clapping. They're like, some of them are yelling, "Yeah, Alice," and the other one's like, "Go, Drake!" And you watch now as the this tall dragonborn, he just quickly places both katanas back into the side of the sheaths on his side, and he leans down closer to you, and he places a large clawed hand upon your shoulder, and he goes, "It was one of the toughest fights I've had in some time. What is your name?"
My name is I'll be back. No, it's actually Ellis. But I will be back.
"Yes, I think it's best. I want to fight you again." And you watch as he kind of grabs you by the forearm and he starts to pull you up. And as he does, he kind of lifts your arm up into the air, and everyone starts cheering and clapping and super excited.
I should have. If I had been rolling my actual dice, I would have won. I'm rolling 18s, 14s, 13s. Man, rip, roll 20 dice. But yeah, I will, take the arm, get lifted up. I'm looking like I'm feeling good with 23, but I'm in lots of bruised pain, so I'll kind of like
Absolutely.
hobble to the edge and nod to the crowd and yell, "I'll be back! You'll trust me on that."
And as you're walking out of the pit now and just kind of looking back at all the blood and slashes that you guys have been mingling between each other, you get a really good sense. And like just looking at this guy, he kind of like pats you on the back a little bit, and he goes, "Until we meet again, Ellis." And you watch as he just kind of like walks off towards the further end of the fighting pit, and you see there that Goth Morgan is standing there just kind of nodding, clapping, goes, as expected from our champion, ladies and gentlemen, Drake, please, a round of applause." And everyone starts, "Woo, Drake!" And you watch as a large, like, heavy satchel is just kind of tossed into his palm, and he just kind of feels the weight of it for a moment, and you watch as he just kind of raises a hand, and then he kind of, like, taps Morgan on the shoulder, and then just heads off up the spiral staircase.
How'd I do? Was I close? No, sorry, Ava. How'd I do, Ava? I'm talking
Almost.
to myself now. I was close.
Looked close to me.
I felt like he kept bolstering himself the entire fight. He was slick and quick and whew, that felt good. that felt great actually. That felt great.
Only one thing to do now.
Kill a dragon?
Wait, did Tizio publicly bet against him?
I mean, he didn't say he was being discreet about it, so yeah, you would have seen him bet money. You don't know who he. I don't know. Were
No,
you trying to be
I
discreet?
that's no, I was not. So yeah, essentially, you saw me bet money.
Yeah, I mean, I would say if you, because you were all kind of betting money around the same time, you would have probably heard him bet against Ellis.
Tizio is buying us all drinks.
That's
Seems
like
fair.
what, one gold?
Here at this establishment, it is 1 gold per drink. Yep. Or if you're looking for a tankard of beer, it's a silver piece each. But speaking of which, you do watch as the gnomish individual who you all place bets with, he goes around and says, "Well, sorry guys, but better luck next time. You know, Drake's been, this is his 6th time winning in a row, so it's only expected that, you know, an up-and-comer can't just walk in and take all the gold. But nevertheless," and he kind of walks over to you, Tizio, and he just kind of drops 60 gold in your hand. He says, "It was a good choice."
Oh, I know. And it's a 60 gold, so I just to make sure I'm only adding the extra 10, correct?
For what?
Oh, I'm sorry. I bet 30.
You bet 30, you got 60. So you would up. So if you're not making any changes, you plus 30 to yourself. Because
Okay, no, sorry. I think Talum at one point said 10, so it kind of confused me. That's why.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, he bet 10 for Ellis. Eva bet 30 on Ellis. Perry bet 10 on Ellis. So unfortunately, it did not turn out in their favor. I'm sorry, you're right. It might be, I might be wrong on it. I might be fucked up. Yeah, so it would pay you 10. I do apologize. I did fuck up.
I think there's usually what isn't there different odds though? Like if you bet on if you bet on Ellis it would have been 1 and 3, but 3
Well,
to 1
if
or
you,
better. But then if you bet on the main guy, you're just 1 to 1 usually.
right, which is what I thought. Yeah, so if you're betting, it's 1 to 1 for if you bet on the main guy, so you would have got double what you paid. Otherwise, if you bet on the underdog, you would have got 3 times what you bet.
Yeah.
Let's not argue him out of 20 gold, Dallum.
Yeah, pro gambler, rocket scientist, all those things in one. But yeah, so we'll stick with what I originally said. So you paid 30, you would have got 60 back, so a profit of 30 gold for you, Tizio.
Cool, thank you.
You're very welcome. I thought it was right. Anyway, so with that, you watch now that while this gnome is in the process of distributing money to you and having apologized to the rest of you for a poor choice for a newcomer, you do see Goth Morgan kind of walks up to the group of you and goes, "Well, that was some fighting, if I do say so myself, young one."
See why I asked you if we could use our teeth?
Yes, I think we were all a little surprised when, what is that? And he kind of looks behind you to see if it's there. It's probably gone by now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Well,
Oh, except for that it's a tail, and I have it sometimes.
interesting. So it grows on you normally.
I think I turn more into like an animal when I'm ready to like when I'm in the arena. I'm not sure.
Well, I'll tell you what, young lad. Maybe next time you come, start a little smaller. Maybe you want to try one of the unarmed combatants. If as you say that tail is a natural part of your body, it's not against the rules to have it.
Absolutely not. I'm gonna fight Drake until I win.
Hey,
Well,
DM, question.
yes.
Was I able to tell? Obviously, a lot of hits and whatnot. Was I able to kind of gauge slash tell if the opponent was Ellis's opponent was like really badly injured or anything like that, like close to the edge?
Make a perception check. We'll say you did this in the middle of combat. Yeah, he was pushing the limits of his capabilities, and you gather that because they weren't talking quiet to each other, but it was pretty loud, so you couldn't really hear the conversation between the two of them. But it appeared to be a very close fight, just with some good maneuvers and lucky strikes, especially with you gather with the amount of scars and damage that's already done to his armor. He has seen battle, and you gather that he has been experienced enough to know how to effectively take down an opponent. But it was close. But with that, while Goth Morgan is speaking with you, Ellis, he does look over to the group of you. He goes, "Well, I'm so grateful that you all brought a contender here to fight against our champion. I do hope that you return at some point. Mind you, we are not an everyday occurrence, so don't just go wandering in here. Keep.
No, yeah, I actually was gonna ask, when do you host events like this?
Well, we it really depends on the circumstance and who's attempting the fight and how much revenue I can earn off of it. Speaking of revenue, who's gonna be paying for the meals that you guys had earlier? And he just kind of looks around the group of you.
We all look at Tizio.
Yep, Clarinet Tizio.
I believe Ellis said it was on him.
Yeah, did you see what I did in the ring there? That was on me.
Um, can I see the bill, please?
So Goth Morgan looks over at the gnomish individual who's also taking the bets, and he pulls out a piece of parchment, hands it over to him, and the total bill comes to, for the 7 of you, drinks plus meals, was about 12 gold pieces.
I pay for my own stuff because I'm not a degenerate.
Yep.
I'll pay for my own. I'll hand over a gold.
Okay, well, it would be 2 for each of you.
Oh, I thought you said it was 1 gold for the meal and
One.
the drink.
No, 1 gold per meal, 1 gold per drink.
Oh, jeez, I wouldn't have drank.
It's a fine establishment he runs here.
Ellis specifically likes cheap wine.
All wine, regardless of
Yeah, I think that's
quality
1
here.
gold minimum here.
Yeah, it's the only thing that's cheap here would be the ale. The ale is I think it's like 2 or 3. It's 1 silver per ale, but wine is a gold. And since you guys,
Oh, okay, fuck it. I paid 2 gold.
because he had said he can provide excellent chicken with a glass of fine wine to go with it.
So how much does Tizio have to remove of gold wise?
Well-
How much are you paying?
Tizio, it's one of those things where, like, to him, it's kind of chump change in a sense. But since they're all kind of giving him the gold, he'll just pay the difference.
So you're paying the tab then?
Yeah, I think everyone paid him though. Seeing everyone else pay.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I guess.
So we're all paying too.
Okay, so if everyone's paying for their own, then you would only be getting 28 gold pieces instead of 30.
Cool.
Okay. Well, with that, you guys take a moment to kind of gather your thoughts, and Ellis kind of recounts the ins and outs of being up close and in the battle, and just you see the large amount of excitement spilling across his face as he just kind of tells you, what had possibly caused him to get sand in his eye that blocked his attack and what have you. And we will end the session there as you guys wrap up for the evening and head back to Trollskull Manor.
Nice.
Awesome. I think you guys did all great. It was really awesome.
Yeah, it was fun.
Oh, thank you.
I need
Yeah,
extra
good fight,
attack.
It was a very close fight, Ellis.
Yeah, the way the dice went, that was really good.
So
It made it really
against
interesting.
me. Holy crap. Like my reckless attacks for 10 and 9?
Yeah,
So
that
your
was
reckless hurt more
unfortunate.
than helped.
Yeah.
I actually had the thought on the last attack though of like, he's almost certainly going to down you if he gets another turn. So should you have reckless on that last one?
Right. So yeah, that's the
That
thing,
was
right?
a tough call though.
So I was actually doing some heavy research into this combat for you, Ellis, your claws give you 2 attacks.
Yeah, I know, but they're only 1d6 each.
Right. But 1d6
And
plus rage plus
and if I
strength.
have, well, here's the thing. It's going to be a very interesting thing, especially if I'm going against specifically a samurai fighter. Like that is my weakness, is a samurai fighter.
So
Because if I don't give him advantage, he can give it to himself with extra hit points.
yeah, very true.
It's the and if I but if I do give him advantage, then he can use both of his attacks.
Exactly, which
It's
he gratefully used. Now,
yeah, that was
I'll tell you this as a fun thing. This is my son's character, Drake.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
cute.
Ooh, that's awesome.
So my son made this character a long time back, and I thought it would be amazing to bring him into this story. And it just turned out that he happened to be one of the best options to fight you.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like if I give up my tail, adding 8 to AC as a reaction every turn in one-on-one is really good.
It sure is. And trust me, I had to think long and hard about what would best fight you. You can ask Talon. But anyway, yeah, so we'll wrap it up there for the evening, and then we'll see how things go for the following day. I appreciate you all playing.
All right.
And
Oof, that
as
was
always,
fun.
Yeah, good fight, Ellis.
it
Good
was
fight, man.
super fun to fight, man.
I'm coming
and-
back.
And DM, tell your son for making a good character.
I sure will. All right. Well, you all have a
All
great
right.
day.
Good fun.
If you-
Thanks for DMing.
Have a good night, you
Thank
guys.
you. Yeah. If you guys need anything,
Yeah.
just
Thanks, everyone.
hit
Good
me
night,
up on
guys.
Discord.
Have a good night. Good night.
And thank you all for those of you who came to watch. I really appreciate it. We play every Sunday, 7 p.m. Central. Yeah, we appreciate the support. So thank you.